someone asks a question of where do you come from, and you're just like searching in your brain to see like what is the best answer for that person. Have you ever thought of all these experiences that you've had and not know which ones you like the most or what you want to do with all of it? Welcome to TCK Summit on Identity for April. I want to thank Salonia and Grace for hosting this, for giving us the opportunities to be able to share more work on and more information and just like more experiences and being a third cultured kid in the world today, being a global citizen, a multicultural person, and having the platform to be able to do this. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to connect with all of fellow TCKers, fellow multicultural, and a lot of travel orientated and open-minded orientated people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excited to share more. My mom is Singaporean and my dad's Taiwanese, so we spoke Chinese at home. And my sister and I, we first moved to Germany, where we started our formative years, where I learned my ABCs, writing cursive, running around with a farm, like animals, and planting strawberries. We had cherry trees, sour ones and sweet ones. Living in Ludwigshafen, south of Frankfurt, before moving to Taiwan, Shanghai, when a lot of the roads are still muddy, and Hongqiao was definitely not the way that it is today. And Hong Kong, and then back to Shanghai, and then eventually California. And it's a mouthful. I usually don't tell people all of this, because by the time I get to this point, I lose them. Living in so many places and having all these different opportunities, you know, people ask me all the time, like, where do you see yourself and where do you identify yourself the most with? And it's always hard to pick. The answer is never easy, right? Like, it depends on the day, on your mood, and it also depends on what you're trying to achieve. And in terms of, you know, like where you are in your life. And what you realize is, or what I realized was that I'm so adaptable that no matter where I go, I can always find a place in that community or in that space where I can create my life, and I can be able to create a surrounding that I love. I remember last year when I was traveling 9 out of 12 months for as an innovation and peak performance coach, running workshops. I was able to and had the opportunity and honor to communicate and interact with people from Madrid, South America, you know, Spain, Portugal, Amsterdam, and in every city that I went to, I texted my family chat and told my family, hey, Mom, Dad, I can totally picture myself here. And then lastly, the last place that I went to was Taiwan, and same thing happened. The food was so good there. So what I really, really wanted to talk to you guys about today is the 3 key elements and 3 challenges that we face, TCKs, global citizens face, and identity that I've realized I speak to a lot of my clients. My client base is mostly TCKs and expats. And how to really find out what is that common thread and what is that passion, that identity, and that thing that makes you feel alive in the same area or in the same vein as all of your experiences. And then if you want to find out more about this, you can stay tuned as well, because I have something really exciting to share with you at the end of it too. I still remember a time where I was in college and I was sitting in my room writing my senior thesis and thinking to myself, out of all of these experiences, who am I really and what do I really want to do? I did my college degree in a very open-minded, I was in a liberal arts college, Cornwall McKenna, and I did it in a very liberal arts sort of way, where I ended up starting one major and ended up with 3, and still at the end of it not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And I was really confused with my identity as well. Like, should I stay in the States? Should I go back to Asia? Do I want to go somewhere completely different? And it was annoying, and it was confusing, and I applied so many different types of ways to figure that out, and figure out what is that path that really is a calling and really feels like something that I could commit to for a long amount of time. Today I help high-flying TCKs and expats who feel that they're missing something within themselves, or they feel like they're not completely fulfilled with offering all of the value that they have available. Pinpoint what that actually is, what that passion is, and turn it into something that is an action that is larger than themselves, and that is something that is a bigger part of their lives, oftentimes turning into something like a business. You have been to different places, you've seen the commonalities, and you have that understanding of how everything connects, and you're different people in different contexts. And the problem is that sometimes you are so sure of who you are in one particular context, but you don't understand, or sometimes you're confused, like how do you fit in that global world, and what is that life that you really want, and that purpose that you have within the global context. And that small solution is really to look for the common thread of everything that you've done. So secret and key number 1 is finding that one single core thread that really unites all of the most favorite and exciting experiences that you have. Next everything, you are very likely to go through life, one year after another, without really having that common thread that connects it all, and without really knowing what truly makes you fulfilled and what you truly ask for. Because your career ladder, and what I find is that our sort of way of looking at life is so different, and there isn't really something that exactly fits us that the world currently already has. The problem is that because seeing things from different perspectives is your strength. You can see things from multiple different perspectives, from multiple different countries' perspectives, different ways of looking at things. It's so easy for you that you can connect with anyone. And one amazing thing about so amorphous and flexible is that you can pretty much be in the shoes of anyone. However, at the same time, this thing that allows you to be such a brilliant critical thinker and diplomat, and the ability for you to connect instantly, is also, it may not reveal what you truly are thinking and what you truly value. And knowing what you truly value is crucial to understanding what your identity is. And for me, like, I remember being completely driven by a lot of my parents' or societal values, and once I found out what was really my value was when I realized what the difference is when I fulfilled those versus what other people's are. So secret number 2 and key number 2 is connecting with your own values. So what is your inner voice? What is your inner honest opinion? Sometimes even though we feel like we know it, when we realize that what our life is like today is not what we imagine it to be, that means there's something that is not in congruence. So when your values, and these values can be anything from security, safety, or love, travel, freedom, collaboration, things like that. When your values are, and family, and education, and personal development, it could be any of these things. When your values are being met, you're fulfilled. And the small problem is that if they're not being met, then you're not. And your identity is largely, I feel like, based off of these values. And this very, very common thing I find among TCKs is that the value of flexibility, freedom, independence, and travel is high on their lists. Being able to meet new people, try new things is something that we find exciting or interesting. So it's really important to get in touch with what your true values are and see what that gut is actually craving, or what is that thing that allows you to feel more fulfilled, so that you can have the ability to not only connect with that, but also connect with that deeper meaning of what fulfills you. Knowing your identity in that sense fulfills you. Because the biggest mistake with not being in touch with that is that you might feel like there's something, a void that is constantly knocking at you. PCKs and expats, because they move around so much and they are able to set roots or spread seeds across so many different places in different contexts, oftentimes it's very different from people who grew up in the same place, because the level of that deeper connection over a longer period of time is less frequent, and it's less common than someone who might be living in the same place. So the small little solution is to really embrace vulnerability and trust. So vulnerability and trust, I feel like, in our identity is something that is crucial and is paramount to connecting, and connection and commitment are really closely tied. So it's really important to know this, because we know that people who feel connected and who are vulnerable, who have no fear of showing who they really are the people who are also deeply fulfilled in love and connection, which is one of our primary needs in the hierarchy of needs. When you don't have that, and when you're always guarded, or when you're trying to check out before the end of something, for example, when you know that one person is leaving and you already feel sad before the person actually left, what happens is that you lose that opportunity to connect even deeper, and that opportunity to explore that further. And I feel like that's a big part of my identity that changed throughout the years. I remember in high school, whenever I knew that someone was leaving, or in primary or in elementary school actually, because when I was in Shanghai, people left, every 6 months or every 1 year. Even though you learned so well how to make new friends, people are constantly leaving, that it was very tough to remake those friendships or redo it all again. And sometimes you check out in advance when you know that somebody is going to leave or graduate. And then so, and I remember regretting that. One of my best friends, if I had to do it again, I would definitely not do that. And today, when people are leaving, I know that it's a even bigger opportunity to really connect with them and really embrace the friendship that we have had, because at the end of the day, these connections are what really create our experiences, and these connections that are all over the world are what really makes us have a home in this global context. I think it's super fortunate that we're able to travel all over and feel like the whole globe has a place for us. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I know that among my friends, there's just so many who have friends all over the world as well. And when I think about the future, I think about a lot of meetings and reunions in different parts of the world where everyone flies in, and that's kind of how it's really been. And I was in South America in Machu Picchu. My friends from San Francisco flew in. One was from India, and another from Texas, and it was just so awesome to have vacation buddies and travel buddies where you still kept in touch and were able to connect. So I hope you enjoyed the 3 strategies and 3 keys or 3 secrets to finding out what your real identity is and what that deeper identity lies within you, within that complex, beautiful, unique, expressive person that you are. If you want to find out more, if you want to talk more, I'm more than happy to chat with you. I would love to invite 3 of you guys to have a one-on-one chat with me, and I can run you through these processes that will communicate with your unconscious mind, because a lot of things are located beyond your consciousness, and fish out and figure out and give you clarity over what is important to you, what that purpose is, and what is that unique personality that you have that is going to be able to come out, manifest, really be that driving force of this in the next phase of your life. So thank you so much for tuning in to TCK Summit Identity. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. I'd love to speak to you and see you around. I'm going to be here again, I think in May or in June's session. So see you around. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.